Welcome back to New Rockstars. As we inch closer and closer to the Multiverse of Madness, are we about to learn that all of this craziness is due to the actions of one powerful woman? And I'm not talking about our beloved Scarlet Witch, who has never done anything wrong in her life. I don't want to hear it. It was an accident. I'm talking about everyone's favorite badass Loki variant by the name of Sylvie. Is this what He Who Remains was warning us about? Well, this is Rogue Theory, the show where we pitch the wildest theories for the nerdy titles that we love. My name is MT, and growing rogue with me today is Twitch variant that will break open any multiverse. It's Angelica Trae. What's going on, Angelica?
Hey, I really like that intro. I feel so cool right now.
It's because you are cool, Angelica.
Well, thank you.
Live in it.
Oh my gosh.
It's who you are. And someone who's always ready to deviate from He Who Remains' script, it's Whitney Van Laningham. What's going on, girl?
Ah, man, always willing to deviate. That sounds so dirty.
Screw
I
that
like
man's
it.
Script. And finally, someone who always knocks twice on the time door, it's off-screen producer Brandon. What's going on, buddy?
Hello. I'm the Jessica Clemens variant today. From a different
Yes,
universe.
you are.
Slipping in, you know.
I think that means that you should be long hair, Brandon, then, in that case.
Oh, no.
because
You got to pay extra on my OnlyFans to see the long hair.
You gotta, okay, we gotta sub to your OnlyFans
Right.
if
You
you
got
want
to
to
sub
see
to
your
my
hair
OnlyFans
down.
to get
Let's
that
get
long
this started.
hair. Sorry, guys. Daddy's got to make money, okay?
You got to teach me your secret, because the crops ain't growing, buddy. It's not working. But anyway, we've learned a lot this week, the importance of the Loki series as a lead-in to the events of the upcoming Doctor Strange sequel, which makes us think that the popular series prompted some script changes. But just how important are the events of Loki? Which leads us to our first topic of today. Did Loki give us the Illuminati that we see in the Doctor Strange 2 trailer? Because in an interview this week, a producer on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness described how the introduction of variants in the Loki series changed the direction of the film. And they even brought in Loki head writer Michael Waldron to work on the script for the Doctor Strange sequel. So, does this mean that there was no Illuminati before the death of He Who Remains? And was the upcoming film going to look completely different? And how do we think this expansion of the concept of variants in the multiverse will play out as the film dives deeper into the whole concept?
So I definitely think Loki is a huge pivotal point in the MCU. And I think that the fall of He Who Remains is not what triggered the start of the Illuminati, but I think that in Multiverse of Madness, there's going to be a lot going on here, and I think that Sylvie is going to be behind it, but Strange will also be a part of it somewhere in there, because we've already seen some characters like, I don't know, back of the head features with like Professor X, and we've got some other introductions coming into the MCU that have in the comics been part of the Illuminati. So I definitely think that it's something that's a huge trigger from the Loki series, but will come to fruition during Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I like the idea that there was, they were working on Doctor Strange 2, putting together a script, and then they see Loki. And we know that there was reshoots, and every Marvel movie has reshoots, and then like a second round of reshoots. Like they bake it into the original schedule. But I bet when they saw Loki and this concept of variants, they were like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. Like, I'm totally convinced that the script didn't include the Illuminati until after they saw Loki. And they're like, oh, we could have this whole thing come in. Because that interview you talk about, MT, they do mention like, oh, because they did all this work on Loki, we don't have to like explain everything all over again, right? And even all of popular culture is getting into this concept of multiverses. The DC's going to have the Flash movie, which is going to do the same thing. And so it's like society is primed to understand the multiverse now, and they had No Way Home. And it's like, they kind of get it, right? Like they get that like, oh, there's these different versions of things out that exist out there. So now I think with like Doctor Strange, they're like, great, we can start in the middle. Like people get it to put it all together. Like Sylvie killing He Who Remains means we get like the Illuminati now. And I think they probably existed and they weren't able to get into our universe because of what He Who Remains was doing. Now that he's dead, they're going to bust in. They're going to be like, what have you guys been doing here? We've been trying to help. We can't get the in, and the door was locked, and now we can get in. And this is a fucking mess. What are you guys doing?
You know what? If I was Professor X, I'd be the same way.
Oh, totally. I could definitely see Sylvie taking matters into her own hands, too, and initiating the Illuminati, because it really seems like there's going to be... she's going to try to gain control where she can,
Yeah.
especially probably after dealing with the guilt of He Who Remains downfall. So we'll see what happens there, but Sylvie's going to play a huge role in this.
Wait, so do you think that Sylvie, like, could actually be, like, the head honcho behind the formation of the Illuminati?
I think that she could definitely be maybe the main, like, the person that pitches the idea. So I don't know if she'll be like the top dog in it, but maybe plant some seeds. You know how sneaky Sylvie is.
Like a Nick Fury?
She a little sneak.
If Professor X is like, it's time we should tell him the truth. And the truth is, we do whatever this lady tells us to do. She's got a pretty big knife, and we're freaked out, guys.
I think Sylvie's going around disseminating information. Yeah, and she's like starting up a lot of these ideas and like planting a lot of these seeds. And then, of course, we're going to pull in, it's going to be a big main thing because now they need an organization to come through and actually handle stuff like the Illuminati beforehand, before any of this havoc is wrought, right? And so we'll probably bring in like Namor eventually and obviously Professor X and some other folks, and I think that it's going to be really fun and really cool, and maybe we'll get Steven.
Me too.
Well, I'm excited for that. I always like kind of like the shadowy kind of sketchy organizations, or the like, okay, because here's the thing, it's like it's hard to be a hero or call yourself a hero and then also be like operating around rules or before, like trying to prevent something. So I really like the concept of the Illuminati. So I'm gonna run fully in that direction.
Oh yeah, I think that having an Illuminati introduced in Doctor Strange 2, and especially in a Doctor Strange series, like you said, it makes so much sense considering that the Illuminati sort of did what a lot what Doctor Strange was doing. Like they break the rules and like they sort of do things like you know what, we know better, so like we're just gonna do things in secret. So like they're sort of like a parallel to Doctor Strange in a way. But what you got, Whitney?
Well, there was a clip where little sweet baby Tony Stark is on his phone, and you can see that he has an Illuminati app on his cell phone.
Oh my god.
And so I think that the Illuminati has been around, and I think that they've kind of been preparing behind the scenes for something like this to happen. But something of this magnitude has not happened yet, so we haven't seen them yet. Because, like, even Thanos, that was more of messing with our universe, but he wasn't messing with other multiverses. So I think that at that point in time, they probably were formed, but they didn't have any reason to meet Thanos. Yeah. And now that shit's getting f***ed up in the multiverse, now they have a reason to come together on screen. Sadly, R.I.P. Iron Man. But I think that obviously Professor X is happening. But like in the original Illuminati lineup, Doctor Strange was a part of it. So I think that the Dark Doctor Strange that we saw in the Multiverse of Madness trailer could be the representative of the Illuminati. And they're catching our Steven up to speed when they're like, let's tell him the truth. Actually, here's your variant. We're all part of the Illuminati. And guess what? We're in charge of making sure that Wanda doesn't f*** up the multiverse.
I love the idea of Tony Stark like constantly messaging the Illuminati throughout the events of like the MCU, and them just be like, it's not a big deal. He's like, there's this guy and he made an arc reactor and he's got whips and he's trying to kill me, and they're like, that's very small potatoes. We
very small potatoes. That has nothing to do with like literally breaking reality. So until reality breaks, don't call us.
Thanos is here and he's got all these stones and like half the people are gone in the universe, and they're like, man, that's real. I know it seems bad, but it's not a big deal. It's like our thing.
Not our problem.
Just your universe? I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
It's really only affecting you guys.
They're like, we killed our Thanos. What's your problem? Like, what's happening?
What's your deal? You couldn't kill your Thanos? That sounds like a you problem.
he's like Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, just sending messages to the Illuminati.
He's like, hey, Illuminati, I did this cool thing today. I stopped Whiplash. Like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. Nice, Tony.
Well, Whitney brings up a really good like idea too, or a really good, concept around, are we going to be getting variants or multiple variants in the Illuminati, and how is that going to operate, So are we going to get like I don't know, Captain Carter and some other folks involved.
It would be cool
Like
to see like
who-
Captain Carter on the Illuminati, because I don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna like one for one the comics, right? I don't think they're gonna bring in
Yeah.
Black Bolt. That seems like so insane. And they
No.
would have
Yeah,
to kind of
that'd be
acknowledge
random.
Inhumans, which they kind of want everyone to forget about Inhumans.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that if they do introduce Black Bolt, I would be honestly super shocked if they even brought back Anson Mount at all, because like even if they did a variant of Anson Mount's Black Bolt, people would just be like, "What is the I didn't watch Inhumans.
Yeah.
I don't know the significance of that." So they could just recast him completely. But I just feel like the Inhumans just haven't really done well in the comics and in live action, even though I personally love the Inhumans, and Marvel should totally make an Inhumans anime.
Right.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Sorry, I'm just very passionate about this one specific thing.
Let it out.
Demanding
But-
Inhumans anime.
Bro, an Inhumans anime would be
Yeah.
so
Tell us how you feel.
dope. Like that's oh man, that is my true feelings.
I mean, I would love like a world where you have to pit the mutants against the Inhumans in the MCU, and it's like only one can remain. Who's it gonna be?
Yo, like there is a whole arc in the comics of just that. There's
Right.
this whole war between the Inhumans and the X-Men. I would love to see that on screen personally. But like I just feel like Attilan society, the whole Inhuman society with how their whole caste system set up,
Yeah.
people aren't really down with that. It's just not really great. They're not a great royal family. So
But yeah, Angelica, what you're saying about like, are there multiple Illuminatis, or is there just like one Illuminati? You know, are there other Professor X's? Like, why don't I get to
Yeah.
be on the Illuminati? I'm a good Professor X.
I'm
That's
a
what I was
good
thinking
boy.
about.
Let
I'm
me
a
be
good
on the
boy.
let me be on the
good bald
team.
boy.
Yeah, there could be another Tony already on it, right? And like our Tony
Yeah.
really wanted to be on. He's like, look, guys, I made an app. I put it on my phone. Please let me in. They're like, we got a Tony
Yes,
Guys, I
already.
designed an app
made an
for
app?
you. Will you please let me join the team now?
We have a Tony. You're a great Tony. We got a Tony. Okay, we got a Tony.
Yeah, how surprised would you be if Tony actually could communicate across like the multiverse on an app, like the Illuminati app?
It's just like the WhatsApp, but for the multiverse.
Yeah.
So that you can
like
communicate with your
Clubhouse.
variants in other galaxies.
It's
That'd
like
be great.
Clubhouse.
I would do that a lot, actually.
That's like when I have to like text my cousins in England on the WhatsApp group chat,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It would be exactly like that, except
Yeah, I'd be trying to find out if I'm like still short in all my variants. I'd be like, are you 5'1" still? How tall are you?
yeah,
What's
what
your
if
height?
there's
Like,
actually
what's
like
going on
tall
there?
variants of Angelica and Whitney out there? What
Oh.
if we
Right?
have like really tall variants?
NBA Angelica Whitney variants. That would be amazing.
Who knows
Real big
anything
guys.
about sports? I love that. I love that for her.
I also love the idea of our Tony Stark constantly sending pictures to like the Illuminati app, and it downloads on their local things, and they're like, Tony keeps filling up my phone because my phone automatically downloads Illuminati pictures.
And they're just
filling up
selfies because
Yeah, they're
his
just
beard looked like
constant
really
selfies.
good that day or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Constant selfie.
They're just pictures of him and Peter Parker because he's sad. He's like, I miss my son.
Oh.
That is
Are
sad.
there variants of Peter Parker
Him-
out? Sorry, I didn't mean to get
Tony
morbid.
begging
I'm so
the
sorry.
Illuminati for help because he lost his Peter Parker, and they're all like, "That's really not our."
It's like really not our thing, dude. Again, that's your Peter, your problem. We
You were
don't do that.
That's your thing.
You're Peter, your problem. That sounds wrong.
That's exactly right, Angelica.
He's like,
That's exactly right.
Look at the sign.
Don't make me
Don't
tap
quote
the
me on
sign.
that.
Your problem.
Don't make me tap the sign.
No, these are all amazing theories. And for that, I'm awarding everybody 10 million rogue dollars.
This is insane.
Yes.
You can exchange those points at your local Walmart. Just kidding, they're not real. But yes, everyone gets 10 million points because you guys are so smart. I love you guys a lot. But up next, we're going to talk about one of Spider-Man's oldest villains. But first, Epic Hero Shop has released their new line of merch inspired by the Batman, and it's super cool. They've got 3 different shirts, some socks, and even a Riddler-inspired tie. A mysterious tie. I wouldn't recommend wearing it to a job interview, maybe unless you're, interviewing to become a criminal mastermind. And I also heard a rumor that they're about to release a new limited edition latest Obsession shirt design. So keep an eye out for that over at the new rockstarsmerch.com website. And also, it's discouraging if you're only making a small dent on your multiple credit card balances each month because you're only paying the minimums. Upstart can help you pay off your existing debt quickly and start finally getting ahead in your finances. So whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. So rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. So you can check your rate without impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes for loans between $1,000 and get this, $50,000. That is a lot of money. And you can even receive your funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. I did this personally. I actually did this, and it's actually very, very fast. So I can personally vouch for this. So find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/roguetheory. That's upstart.com/roguetheory. And do not forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you, because that helps us a lot. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. So go to upstart.com/roguetheory. And hey, we all got our goals for the year, like starting a real-life Illuminati or reading the Darkhold cover to cover. But at the top of a lot of people's lists is learning a new language with Babbel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Around the new Rockstars office, we got staffers learning Spanish and French using Babbel, and they love how addictively fun Babbel makes learning a new language. The process is fast and easy and transfers well to real-world use. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. And Babbel's lessons were created by over 100 language experts, and their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. And with Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. And in addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. And plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. And right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months if you know how to do math, for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code ROGUE. That is BABBEL.com, code ROGUE. Babbel, language for life. When I've got my Stance socks on, I always know that my feet are both comfortable and stylish. And now they're taking that comfort and style from toe to head with the launch of their new active apparel line. Stance has a super soft line of sweatpants and joggers, shirts, hoodies, and more that look as good as they feel. And they're available in a full range of fits, prints, and fabrics. I think the coolest part of Stance apparel is all of their collaborations with artists and intellectual properties. And wear their Nightmare Before Christmas hoodie over their Bob Marley t-shirt with Incredible Hulk socks, and let the world know all the stuff that you're into at the same time, because why not? It's just efficient. And Stance philosophy is that you should never have to sacrifice your own individual style for the sake of comfort. And now you don't have to. So whether you're relaxing around the house, working out at the gym, or just running all over town, Stance now delivers signature softness and creativity in a full line of active apparel lines from toe to head. Stance has got you covered, so head on over to stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code ROGUE at checkout to apply, and enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. Stitched different. Now, we haven't heard too much about the Sony Spider-Verse film Kraven the Hunter, which is currently in development. But we did get some exciting casting news this week. Fred Heschinger has just been cast as the Chameleon in the upcoming Kraven the Hunter. From the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man #1, way back from the year 1963, which is just feels like yesterday, comes Dmitry Shmerdakov, aka the Chameleon. He was Spider-Man's first supervillain, and now he's getting his first ever live-action appearance. So how will a second major villain affect the plot of this edition of the Sony Spider-Verse?
Well, I think including the Chameleon is very interesting, right? In the comics, they establish he's the half-brother of Kraven the Hunter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they also,
Yeah.
didn't they cast, what's his name? He loves to fight everybody from Australia. Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
guy.
a bad South Park
Kangaroos.
reference where he just fights
I was
everybody.
like, who are you going for? But that's the perfect description.
I thought you were
Russell Crowe.
describing Kangaroo Jack for a second, and I was
Me
like,
too.
yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but I was
Kangaroo
like,
He
I
was
do.
Kangaroo
Sonyverse.
Jack was recently cast as Kraven the
I would
Hunter.
love Kangaroo Jack as Kraven. Yeah, they cast Russell Crowe in this movie too, right? As he's going to be maybe another member of Kraven's family, so it's looking like a family affair, right? And all the families are coming together. I think it's cool to have Chameleon, as Spider-Man's OG first supervillain he faced. He's the reason everyone in New York hates Spider-Man because he dressed up as Spider-Man and went around and committed a bunch of crimes when Spider-Man was trying to join the Fantastic Four because he needed the money. And then so no one trusts Spider-Man because of these initial events where they're like, I thought Spider-Man was a bad guy. Didn't he? And it's like, no, that was another guy. So I think they might use Chameleon, and it would be really cool if we see Spider-Man and Kraven the Hunter, and it just turns out to be like Chameleon, right? Like pretending to be Spider-Man. They keep teasing Spider-Man in like the Sony Venom verse. So
that would be super interesting. I do like that idea of like, this Kraven the Hunter chasing the wrong man. It's like, oh, it's this annoying guy who just wants to be Spider-Man. It's not actually
his half brother constantly getting in the way.
And like, Chameleon is an animal. And like Kraven the Hunter likes to hunt animal-themed things. So like maybe he's hunting Chameleon in this movie. Like maybe that's the person he's hunting. It's like, where is this Chameleon? So I do like that idea.
I mean, it's wild right now because it really feels like Sony's just taken it all the way back. We are currently in a golden era of Spider-Verse right now, and we're just building it up. We've got the very first supervillain for Spider-Man now confirmed, and I think that for how late this feels like it was announced, even though, it's Kraven's coming out January next year or something. The way that they announced this, I feel like they're building up for more maybe later down the road. So we have Chameleon, and he's probably going to be popping in throughout Kraven the Hunter, but maybe there's going to be more of him down the line is what I picked up from this. But I think it's really cool that Sony is building out this even more extended Spider-Verse right now.
Well, it seems like Sony wants to get to that Sinister Six at some point, right? With them focusing on these like villains constantly. And like maybe even before we see another Spider-Man in the Sonyverse, they're gonna do 6 villains who have no one to fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there have been plans to make a Sinister Six movie for sure for the longest time. I mean, ever since the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they teased this Sinister Six, and that never actually happened. So yeah, I think they're starting to build some type of Sinister Six scenario with your Cravens and with your Chameleons. And like, I'm just wondering how that's going to factor in to like the whole Spider-Verse narrative. Like, are we going to see them in the MCU? Are they going to cross over to like, bother our Peter Parker? Like in like, I have this weird idea, and like this is sort of random, but like, do you think that Jameson is going to be involved with the Chameleon in any way? Because we know that Jameson was involved with the creation of the Scorpion, and we know that Scorpion is an element in the No Way Home trilogy. I think that what if J. Jonah Jameson creates the Chameleon along with the Scorpion?
That makes sense, because like if Jameson brings in Chameleon and he's like, I need you to dress up like Spider-Man and go commit some crimes so I can get some news stories, right? He could be doing it like that.
That could be cool.
Exactly. Like, I think that he just really wants to defame Spider-Man because he just doesn't like him. It's just this weird, like, neurosis against Spider-Man. He's just like, I don't care what pictures I get of Spider-Man as long as I see him doing crimes. So Chameleon just do crimes to draw him out. So yeah.
Great impression.
Well, listen, I can be devil's advocate for... I could be devil's advocate for J. Jonah Jameson here. He's got a point. Like, we don't need someone in a costume operating outside the bounds of the law, who's beholden to nobody, who does whatever he wants, who causes damage, and it turns out it's a kid, and like that's not cool either. Okay, he's leaving webbing everywhere, which yes, it disintegrates at some point, but we don't know the long-term health effects of this webbing in the city. Like, what if it?
Oh, you sound like a Republican. Is it coming out of him?
I'm just saying. I'm advocating on behalf of Jameson here because he's being badmouthed and he's not able to respond right now. Okay, someone has got to regulate these superheroes. They got to be stopped. You know what? Maybe I've been converted. I don't know what's happening to me.
Maybe I've been converted. Damn, you've been listening to too much of the J. Jonah Jameson podcast.
Yeah. No, I can't put down the Daily Bugle.
Spider-Man PS4. That's been getting into your brain, all right?
Listen, the podcast is great, and all the supplements they sell me have been really helping my health.
Oh my God, shut up.
Oh no.
My marriage hasn't improved dramatically.
I'm on those nootropics, man, and my mind has never worked better, okay? It's opened up.
What if Chameleon takes advantage of the multiversal cracks from No Way Home, and he uses that to get into the Andrew Garfield universe, and he pretends to be Gwen Stacy come back to life as a variant. Just to trap Andrew Garfield and break his heart all over again. I know that's
He just wants to break his heart. That's all he wants to do.
But America wants to see this man sad.
Oh my!
That's what America wants.
He plays
America
sad
does
really
not
well.
want this man to be happy and in love. And I think that the chameleon could just swoop on in and break his beautiful little heart all over again.
We should get Neve from Catfish involved.
Yes. It's just an episode of
so
Catfish,
funny.
but it's Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Why does this
my
chameleon
God, I
plan
would love
sound
that
more
so
evil than just like, I don't know, destroying
I
the
know.
world?
Killing
Like
someone.
it
Than
seems so
anything he's
personal.
ever done in the comics.
Because I am chameleon.
Oh.
Well, do we think like Chameleon is going to be like the real bad guy in this movie? Because like all these movies, right, they're about the villains, you know, Venom
Right.
and Morbius and now this one. And it's like they're the villains, but there's always a more villainy villain there, right? And they stop them.
Yeah.
So they're ostensibly the protagonists. They're the good person. So it's like, is this one going to be, again, like trying to make us empathize with Kraven? Or will Kraven always be the bad guy? Are they going to let a villain be a villain? Let Cruella kill the dogs. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay? Let
I
Cruella
think-
kill
yeah.
the dog. I want to see it. I want to see her kill a puppy.
No,
Okay?
I honestly think that you're on the right track there, Brandon, because I think that in order for these movies like, you know, Venom and your Cravens to be successful, you gotta have to root for the central character. So I think that, you know, the chameleon, even though Craven is a psychopath himself, the chameleon will probably be a worse person.
Like
you
more
know, probably
psychopath.
dressing up as your girlfriend and making you make out with him. Like
I
he
love
did
the
in
idea that the chameleon
these
is not
examples.
changing his face. He just like puts a wig on and like Andrew Garfield
Yes.
buys it for, you know.
Bamboozled again by the chameleon.
It's me, Gwen Stacy. What? You were dead. How is this possible?
How did this happen?
Yeah,
How
I'm
is
back,
this
guys.
possible?
I got spider bite. I don't know.
Andrew Garfield's just that like desperate for Gwen Stacy, and then when he finds out, that's when he turns dark. So that was the whole dark period.
The OG chameleon from the beginning of the comics, like he just like used makeup and like special effects, kind of like Mysterio.
Yeah, he was
Right.
just like a
Yeah.
good actor.
Yeah, he was like a good actor, and he would put on makeup and stuff. So I love the idea of dressing up as Gwen Stacy, put on lipstick all sloppily. Then he got a belt buckle that sprayed a gas that made his like face malleable. So he would like
Yeah.
he'd like spray his face with this belt buckle, which
Yo.
must look insane if you see this guy on the bus. Like
Yo, the
spraying
60s
his
were a
face.
wild time, bro.
And then like
The
mushing
60s
his
were a wild
face
time.
around and be like, "I'm Gwen Stacy."
Just like Gwen.
Gwen.
He just has to say the name over and over again. Honestly, I think I've witnessed worse things on the bus, so.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly,
True. That is
ride the bus
100%
once
true.
Facts.
and you
True
become a
facts.
different person. It's
Yeah.
harrowing. Every bus ride is harrowing
Yeah.
in its own way.
Yeah, for sure.
Same for him.
Wait, what do you guys think of the idea of the chameleon being part of Team Mysterio? Because we know that Team Mysterio is still out there. So like, what if there's like a variant version of Team Mysterio in this separate universe with
Ooh.
with Kraven, where like they're just like, we don't have a Quentin Beck, we don't have like the barf technology, but we kind of want to be like mess up Spider-Man anyway, or like just be bad anyway through the chameleon, and like we're just gonna be the chameleon instead of Mysterio. So like, what do
I
you
love
guys
the
think of
idea
that?
that the MCU is just like Taylor Swift and is still not over Jake Gyllenhaal. So we gotta keep including him, even if he's been dead for like the past 3 movies. Mysterio's gotta stay in the forefront. We gotta keep making Mysterio content, you guys.
Jake Gyllenhaal's legacy must stay intact.
It must.
I mean,
at all times.
I just want a scene with the chameleon, like in Mrs. Doubtfire when he's at a restaurant. The chameleon's at a
Yes.
restaurant with
Mhm.
like 3 different people. He's got to keep
Yes!
going to the bathroom to change who he is.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like the Sony
That'd be so
Spider-Verse,
funny.
they're jealous that the main MCU is doing Skrulls, right? Man, they're like, man, I wish we had Skrulls. We got one guy who can
we
be a
got
Skrull.
one scroll
And
type
he's just
guy.
gonna go around changing whoever he is, right?
I just want to
Um,
see him smash the pie in his face and do the hello.
Like Kraven shows up at his apartment, but he's not ready yet, and he's like,
He's not ready.
I don't have my belt buckle. It's at the shop. I can't change my face.
Okay, these are all amazing theories. And for Angelica and Brandon, I'm going to award you 7 million rogue bucks.
Oh my
for your
gosh,
answers
so
because
many.
I love them so
7
much. I love the
million.
idea of chameleon dressing up as Spider-Man and like sort of just pretending to be him and kind of leading Kraven off the trail, or even just becoming the villain of that movie outright and Kraven just going after him. I think it'd be really fun. And I also love the idea of Chameleon just becoming a bigger part of the MCU later on, and just becoming this Mystique type figure and just like being like, hey, you thought it was your friend, but it's actually me, Chameleon. I would love that, just for him just to be annoying forever. I love it. But I have to give Whitney 10 million rogue points for the idea of tricking Andrew Garfield into thinking that Gwen Stacy was still alive.
This is Gwenfire, man. It's a good theory.
This is Gwenfire. Oh my god. Like literally.
And
we need this movie to happen. So 10 million rogue
Even
points
has
there
a
because,
title.
my god. Incredible. Come on, Marvel Studios, we better be watching and listening to this.
I want it.
Sony too.
Let us write it.
Let us write, seriously.
Let me
Whitney
and
write this, 'cause
MT
she's
write
on the right
Mrs.
track.
Gwenfire the movie.
Hello.
Hello. And now it is time for our rogue question. Are you guys ready for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gang. Because in the recently released Marvel Assembled on Disney Plus, which chronicled the behind-the-scenes events of the Hawkeye series, confirmed that all of the Avengers were invited to Rogers the Musical, the premiere in New York City, and only Hawkeye was the only one that showed up, which is kind of messed up. So, what are the best excuses that the other living Avengers gave for not attending? Because, Tony Stark, big time dead, so he's got a good excuse.
Tony had a good reason. Natalie had a good reason. Okay, they couldn't
Yeah.
come.
We're dead.
Because everyone knows he would be there front row just to see, himself on stage. Just he's got an ego like that.
The Hulk has to go get his clothing tailored or something. Something after, I don't know. I'm trying to think like something
Yes.
like, oh, I got to go get my pants tailored. I feel like I'm thinking of something like a little too further down the line here, because I just think it's funny how he always has his pants on still. Because
What if
I don't know
one
why.
of the things that
Fantastic.
triggers him to become the Hulk is that theater kids just really piss him off.
Yeah,
Theater
he's like,
kids.
I hate musicals.
Theater kids.
Musicals.
It's just like, I will not be able to stay Bruce Banner if you
Honestly-
make me through this thing.
I could see him just sitting there. I could see
feel
Bruce
that.
Banner just sitting there throughout the entire musical, looking so uncomfortable, but with like a very, very awkward smile on his face. And then just like, he's just slowly kind of just trying to keep it down, like just veins bulging.
I like to think that Wanda Maximoff did all of WandaVision just to avoid going to Rogers the Musical.
Yes.
She's like, you know what? I'll show you a real production. Here's WandaVision.
I'll show you how to do a production.
Yeah, Wanda's like, my actors
Oh,
are better.
wow.
Town can enjoy.
Yeah. Wanda's over there doing like a Schenectady over in Westview. She's like making the whole town put on her play. I like to imagine that he's not an Avenger, but Scott Lang finds out that he's in the musical like after the premiere, and he's like pissed that he wasn't
Yeah.
invited. Like his daughter shows him like a video on TikTok. They're like, "Dad, you're in this thing. You weren't at the Battle of New York." He's like, "What? I should have been invited. This is insane." And he probably shows up like 2 weeks later, and they like don't let him in or whatever. He's like, "But I'm Ant-Man. I'm Ant-Man," and he's got to shrink down and then sneak in to go watch it.
I would love to
Ooh.
see that. Oh my god.
I like to think that Ant-Man deliberately committed a crime so that Jimmy Woo would once again place him under house arrest so
So he
that there
didn't have
was
to go.
no way he could go see the musical. He was just like, this sounds bad. I don't want to be a part of this. So he gets arrested and then Jimmy Woo babysits him.
He's outside Jimmy's house, just like breaking his mailbox with a baseball
Yeah.
bat and be like, "Do it."
Yeah.
Do it! Arrest me!
Amazing. You guys are so funny. But no, these were, again, amazing answers. But I, once again, got to give it to Whitney for this image of just having Hulk in the audience, just like trying to hold in his anger, hating musicals.
I hate
He's
theater
like,
kids.
I can't do it.
Hulk hates
I know I'm
theater
always
kids.
angry, but I just can't do it. Theater kids.
We didn't break out the
Like, Ant-Man
song.
wasn't even
This
there.
isn't true.
They just like, he just fucking hated whenever they made him play Zip Zap Zop, like in high school. And he was just like, God, I cannot be around
I
these
can't do
types
it.
of people anymore.
I hate stairs and theater kids. Can't do it. Which makes Whitney our winner for today. Even though, again, you guys were all amazing people. And I
I'll allow
love
it.
making these rogue theories with you and going rogue every week because you guys are geniuses, comic book geniuses. But that is it for this episode of Rogue Theory. I want to thank our very special guests, Angelica Trae, Whitney Van Laningham, and off-screen producer Brandon. Support them on Twitter. Go follow them and whatever they're doing, like especially on Twitch. Angelica is an amazing Twitcher. Go watch her on Twitch, and it's amazing. And everybody, just follow everybody else too. And follow me on Twitter if you want to see me tweet some weird stuff at MasterTainment, and support our channel by checking out all of our awesome merch over at newrockstarsmerch.com. Thank you for spending time with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.